If you're using Instagram, you will no doubt have come across the fact that there's a new feature available called Stories. It enables you to put together a number of images and videos which are available for people to watch for 24 hours and then they disappear, or rather like Snapchat. In this quick video, I just want to talk you through how to get started. I'm actually doing this as a demonstration on my Android device. So what you need to do to get access to Stories, which is rolling out at this point in time, is make sure you've updated your app on Android or iOS to the latest Instagram app. You'll see me here in terms of on my account, and to be able to get to Stories, I'm going to go to my home page, and that's the bottom left. When I click that, on the top left you'll see a little plus sign, and that allows me to start to tell a story. So let's take, for example, a screenshot here of something that I might want to talk about in the story. I can take a video or I can take one photograph, so I'm just going to take one photograph there. It immediately gives me the option to be able to upload it, but I actually want to annotate it and put perhaps a call to action on it before I do so. One of the things I can do immediately is, because I've got the image here, is I can just swipe left and right to be able to actually pick through and choose a different filter. In fact, it can become black and white even, or I'm going to stay with that as my filter for the moment. Of course, filters are very, very popular on Instagram, so it's great to see that we can still use them in Stories. Now what we can see on the top right are two areas. One is where we've got text, so in here I can actually put in, for example, some words such as my website. I'd obviously recommend that you put in a better call to action than this, but that's just to get us started, just to be able to demonstrate it here in this quick tutorial. And then I can just change the size of that content here. And what I'm really like is this feature in terms of being able to add different text. Now what I can do on the bottom is I can scroll through and I can see, in fact let me undo that, if I scroll through the different colours I can choose different colours to be relevant. So if I wanted to choose a colour that perhaps would tone in with this, let's see what it would look like if I chose the purple. And what I can do is I've got on the top left, I've actually got the pen, and what if I hit the bottom left, I can actually choose the size of what that pen will be. Well, that's possibly not enough differentiation, so all I need to do is click undo. So let's find another colour that might complement this story. So let's choose that light pink. And so now what I can do is just again choose that pink, or I can choose the different size, so I can just change the size and just again click undo. So I might want to hit an arrow here. And you can have lots of fun with this because there's also a broader marker pen as well. So this would be great to have, in fact, some words to go over the top of. So I could actually, let's say, undo those things that were just done there. And if I want to put in a background here, and I can click done. And then one of the things I can do is I could just use that as a background to the content in terms of the overlay. One that I do particularly like is on the right hand side here. You actually see the option is to actually have something there which is neon, so that actually just gets it to stand out a little more. So you can have lots of fun, and I'm just using my finger here. Of course you can use a stylus, and if you're a Snapchat artist, I'm sure you can do much better work than I've done. So let's say I've finished that particular annotation that I want to make on that image, and then what I can do is click done. So once I've clicked done, it then gives me the option, if I want to actually download that image, so I can save that. That's great because I can repost it make it as part of another story in other places. Let's say I could actually even upload it these days now to my Snapchat story. As you know, we can access our camera roll on Snapchat, but I might actually want to put this in a video or in a blog post. Lots of different options in terms of what I might want to do with it. However, we also have this button here that says upload. So if I click to upload, that's going to add it to my story. Remember, you can have it there in your story for 24 hours. If I click on upload, and you'll see it will actually appear in just a moment. There we go. My story is now there. Now, if I want to click on that and I can see my story, it also gives me a lot more granularity. I can do things like change the story settings, and that allows me to hide the content from certain people. So I can search for people that actually don't want to see that content. Really important in the context of privacy. Otherwise, anybody who's actually following you, all the stories will appear at the top of their timeline now. So you need to just be aware about where you're sharing your content to. It also allows me to get message replies, so I can say anybody who wants to send me a message after I've posted that story, they actually can do so, and I can allow it to be everybody or people I follow, or I could turn it to off. So it's up to you in terms of what you wish to do there. Of course, if you're a big brand, you may choose, just in terms of the volume of feedback you might get, that you actually don't allow it to be everybody, and it might be just the brands or the organizations you follow. But of course, if you're a smaller business, you might be much more open to actually having that interaction and engagement. So just be aware. I know sometimes that large organizations can get too many posts, so I can leave that in terms of that setting for this point in time. So again, if I actually go back into my story, I can just go through some more settings. It gives me again the option to save the photograph, and I can also save this as a post. So my story does not automatically go to my timeline. If I want to share this to my timeline, I need to share it as a post, and so to do so, then I get the option to actually choose how I want that story to appear. Personally, I'd actually pay a lot more attention to the content that I'm sharing in terms of my curated content on my account, and I want that to be the best it can be. Stories are great for being able to capture things during the course of, let's say, an event and a day, and giving people a little bit less curated effect in terms of the content that you're sharing, a little as we see as on Snapchat at this point in time. So I can make a decision to crop it, and then I could choose to post that content as well. So this wouldn't be relevant for me to post based on the content that I publish over onto my Instagram account, and so I'm not going to do anything with it at that stage. And then the last option we have here is to delete. So in fact, that's what I'm going to do, because this is just created in the context of sharing a demonstration, and so I'm just going to delete that content now. So that's no longer going to be available in my story. Yes, one or two people may have seen it, but I don't mind that for the purpose of this demonstration. If you do have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can direct message me on Instagram at Krishna Day, on Twitter or on Facebook, or of course reach me at krishna.me. Let me know how you get on with this new feature in terms of Instagram stories and how you plan to use it in your organization.